Scott, Tales of a Grandfather. It is the complete history of Scotland in great detail. I've read lots of Scottish history books, but this is my favourite. And because we're talking about Mary Queen of Scots, I'm going to read you a wee passage here from this book. It's got a picture of Mary Queen of Scots, and this is what it says, folks. Just listen to this. Last of all, Mary laid her head on the block, which the executioner severed from her body with 2 strokes of his axe. The headsman held it up in his hand and said, "So perish all Queen Elizabeth's enemies. No voice save that of the Earl of Kent could answer amen. The rest were choked with sobs and tears." So it captures a moment, folks. It captures a moment when they executed Mary Queen of Scots. And as it says there, 2 strokes of the axe. 2 strokes of the axe, according to the history books. And many a botched execution, if you read that some of the executions were done. So that's the wee bit about Mary Queen of Scots. We're now going to move on to another guy associated with Glasgow. Does anybody know who that is?
Can I just say something about Mary Queen of Scots?
Yeah.
They were so terrified that the Scots would rise again that they destroyed the castle completely and they removed the gravel.
Yeah.
So, you know, the World War II, the Germans had got nothing on the English. They removed all the gravel so it would never be a shrine to Scotland's freedom. Very interesting. Yeah.
Now this guy is Bonnie Dundee. We all know the song "Up with the Bonnets" of Bonnie Dundee. Now, do you know this guy actually took part in a battle called the Battle of the Gallowgate, just at Glasgow Cross? He was representing the Royalist forces and the Covenant against the Covenanters. And a big battle took place called the Battle of the Gallowgate. Now there's a battle there every Saturday night. Right, we're moving on to history now. Right, everybody should know this guy. Bonnie Prince Charlie. Now, as you know, he had a lot of success up in Scotland, won many battles. Then he went down as far as Derby, and that's where it all went wrong. There was division in the Scottish army. Half of them wanted to turn back, half of them wanted to go on to London, where they were in total panic, because if they'd gone to London, they may well have won the day. So they decided to retreat. And what a mistake that was. That's why we're in this terrible position today in Scotland, because of that retreat. The Scots arrived back in Scotland on Christmas Day in 1745. And Bonnie Prince Charlie got back to Glasgow on the 26th of December. 26th of December, Boxing Day 1745. And he stayed in Shawfield Mansion. And do you know where Shawfield Mansion is, folks? See if you go to the start of the Trongate and you'll see a Cafe Nero.
Yeah.
Where that building is, Cafe Nero, there is a plaque on the wall to Bonnie Prince Charlie, who stayed there back in Boxing Day 1746. History's all around us, folks. History's all around us. Unfortunately, the troops who were stationed in Glasgow Green, the lucky ones were the ones that fled at that stage, because the rest of them went up north where they met their fate at Culloden. No man was spared at Culloden. They were bayoneted to death. Horrendous. So that's another. We'll get mixed views about this guy. Some folk think he's okay, other folk think he's a waste of space. Up to you to decide. You want to say something, Sarah?
I did. I wanted to share some things I found out about Bonnie Prince Charlie and Culloden and what really happened, and they're very what he's, I'm just going to read you what he's been explaining to people. He's posted something that's called the Proclamation of Charles Edward Stuart. In 1745, Charles Edward Stuart landed in Scotland. One of his first acts in reaching Edinburgh to declare himself king, to claim what he's entitled to. Two proclamations, one rallying support, and the other reasserting the sovereignty of the Scottish people and ending the Union. So you can forget what you've been told about this religious or romantic Stuart rising. It was about ending the Union. And it was in 1715. And by the way, has everybody heard that everybody knows there was a rising in 1715? Did you know it's far bigger than the one in 1745?
Was it?
In 1715, 71% of what are known as sensible men, those who could fight, joined the rising. In 1745, it was 51% of sensible men in Scotland. So that tells you which is the bigger rising, right? In both of these risings, there were swords that said prosperity for Scotland and no union, daggers that said prosperity for Scotland and no union. I'm sorry, I'm really bad on this. So, Charles claimed, as de facto regent, that the Union had already ceased to exist. Quote, the pretended union of these kingdoms being now at an end. This is his absolutely first act, right? So doesn't that change how we see this? It explicitly warns Scots not to attend the Parliament at Westminster. It says, we hereby warn and command all His Majesty's liege subjects not to presume to meet or act as a Parliament at Westminster. Those who did were to be declared, quote, traitors and rebels to their king and country. More precisely, no right or privilege of Parliament can avail to justify what they shall say or do in such an unlawful assembly. He didn't just deny Westminster's legitimacy, he refused the constitutional protection of its members. In fact, he rejected English law, which was replacing Scots. And he said that his sole intention is to re-establish all his subjects in the full enjoyment of their religion, laws and liberties. In other words, he mirrored exactly the 1689 claim of right, this time in opposition to the Union. And he said that he cannot possibly ratify it, since he had repeated remonstrances against it from each kingdom. And he also went on to say elsewhere, I'm not going to do it here, that it could not be lawful when the people in Scotland are sovereign. Well, that may have been his dad. The other thing that you might not know is that what followed in the reign of Culloden wasn't that they hunted down those who they suspected of being supporters. What happened was an absolute genocide right across Scotland. We're not taught about that at all. And the stories, when we're hoping to bring them out, I think will have people in tears. It's what really, really took place. Starvation, the deliberate starvation, burning of towns. And it changes how many people we think actually were living in Scotland. Because you would be talking about towns in the Highlands of 400, 600, burnt to the ground. And then we look at the desert that's left. But we're told the same thing about other colonies. Oh, a land without a people. Didn't have many people. It did until we were mass murdered. So it's a whole different story. It was about the Union. It was about the Hanoverians. It was not romantic or Catholic or bring back the Stuarts with the white rose and all the rest of it.